Hi, Erin. How are you doing?
Hi, friend. How are you?
Doing great. Doing great. I keep saying we're going to have cold weather, but it's been a great October. What are you feeling?
Freezing last night and raining. And did you see that game went into overtime? Did you watch the game?
Yes, we watched the whole game and it was wonderful. I don't know how we keep winning, but we do, even if it's by one touchdown.
I asked my newly sporty son, and he said that there's only been one undefeated season. Is that right? That was the Patriots one year.
Yes, it was the Miami Dolphins.
Oh, that's not what he told me. He said one year the New England Patriots went undefeated until Super Bowl.
Correct. They lost to Eli Manning and the New York Giants.
And then the Dolphins did a whole entire undefeated?
They did a whole entire season with Don Shula. I don't think it's 76, but I could be wrong.
Did they win the Super Bowl that year?
They did win the Super Bowl.
And now the Miami coach have you seen the transition from when he got there to what he looks like now, how Miami he got?
Yes. He's a really, really smart guy. So,
he's very Miami now. I like the Miami team. I feel like I could really get behind a team that it's warm all the time.
Yeah, I just wish Joel Goldberg, our friend who's tuning in, so Bestway International and Evardy Construction could be like, is this a sports show or are they interviewing Kansas City leaders?
First of all, it's both.
Yes.
Are you popping a thing?
I am popping a thing.
I can hear
Usually
it.
I have my rainbow one, but I got my purple one today.
Too close to the microphone.
I'm getting away from the microphone. You want to hear a funny story?
Yeah, duh.
Okay. So Aaron and I banter a little bit, try to make you laugh, get you to pop on. So Julie and I my wife, we were yelling at the dogs. We heard it chewing something. Well, Julie and I organized a pub crawl for first grade parents. And we had 80 parents that came on 2 buses and we did a pub crawl and we had a really good time. And we were right next to Taco Bell. So we went to Taco Bell. And in my jeans, I put Taco Bell wrappers, apparently. And that's what the dog was chewing that we were yelling about. So it's like, what are you doing? Our dog's name is saying, what are you doing? Oh, it's chewing Taco Bell wrappers.
There's literally nothing better than Taco Bell after you've been drinking.
I mean, it's insane. It's like, you try to only do it once a month or once every other month. But when you do, it's good stuff. And we're not sponsored by Taco Bell.
Not yet.
That's right. We could
I do have to tell you, that reminds me, do you know what I literally, this is going to be so lame. You know what I was devastated by this week?
What were you devastated by?
Literally devastated. Like, I can't explain to you the amount of devastation I had. Do you know every Applebee's in Johnson County closed this past week?
Yeah. TGI Fridays, the corporate stores went down too.
Oh, we still got the Applebee's by the Legends because I did some research. I really enjoy Applebee's. Plus, it was my first job, really.
Yeah.
And in Olathe, I think it was just the nostalgia, but I got very sad about that this week.
You and I could go on forever, but we know people are not here to talk
about our sponsors, and then we'll bring in our guests.
So, it's the holiday season. And when you're thinking about something from overseas or something really difficult, think of Bestway International. When you're thinking about your construction projects for 2025, think of Evardy. Because when you're going through the airport and you are getting something to eat, maybe not as good as Applebee's, you're actually sitting in a location Evardy Construction built.
Good job. Look at you. You're like a walking QVC commercial. Okay, let's bring in this has been.
Let's get the good music.
Listen, if you are watching on Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn, let us know in the comments. If you're watching the replay, let us know. It is a crazy day. Make sure you get out there and vote this year. It feels like Election Day has been on another Tuesday before. And I remember it being a little bit slow, but everybody came and watched the replay. So let us know. You don't have to tell us who you voted for. Just go vote. That's all I got to say. Okay, let's do this. It was Devin's first time voting. My son's.
Oh, I didn't know that. You didn't say that. That's awesome.
Yeah, so we went and voted together.
That's American.
Very American, but just like this terrible music they absolutely hate. All right, we're going to go ladies first. Melissa and Billy. God's favorite song in the whole world. Terrible. So, hello, guys. All right, we're just going to jump right into it. Melissa, who are you? What do you do? How do you get to Kansas City?
All right. So, hi, everyone. Thanks for having me, guys. Melissa Fulk. I am originally from Kansas City. I came back here about 2 years ago after spending 11 years in Chicago. We were in the city for 10 years, and then our last year we were in the suburbs. And I finally was like, okay, if we're in the suburbs of Chicago, we might as well be in the suburbs of Kansas City, where we have family and grandparents that will babysit for free and at the last minute. So we moved back. My husband is also originally from Kansas City. He went to Rockhurst. He knows Scott for decades and decades. And I have been in operations for tech companies. I left my most recent company the end of last year, just due to almost weekly travel back to Chicago. And with a 2 and 4-year-old, my husband was probably going to divorce me if I didn't do that. And so since then, I've been focusing. We have a handful of higher end short-term rentals. So we've bought and sold a few this year, and really focusing on getting those spun up. And then I also have a 4.5 and 2.5-year-old girls. And I took my 4.5-year-old to go vote with me today, which was really a special experience.
Nice.
That's awesome. Now we got to ask, what were your girls for Halloween? And also tell us a little bit about your organization that you're with today.
Sure. So the oldest one, Emerson or Emmy, was a mermaid, and the 2.5-year-old was a wolf.
That's awesome.
Per her insistence. And so she really got the howl down. It was quite impressive to hear that boisterous howl from a 2.5-year-old. So that was great. And then right now I am just working for myself, doing our property management and interior design. And then I'm kind of in this transition period if I want to go back to tech, or if I want to perhaps kind of explore my new thing, doing my own thing.
So when people on the real estate side, do you have to understand every city and the compliance for what they do on Airbnb? How does that go in terms of when you look at a property, the city ordinance?
Yes, you definitely need to understand what the city ordinances are. And then even if, and we saw this in Prairie Village, actually, even if your Airbnb, your property is compliant with local regulations as it is today, that could change. So fingers crossed, though. I now will only buy properties in cities that already have like an established short-term rental like rules and regulations, because those are unlikely to change.
Yeah. Prairie Village, I feel like it's just changed so much in the past 10 years. Right? So awesome. Well, thank you for coming. We're so excited. Blake, who are you? What do you do? And how do you get to Kansas City?
Hey, yeah. Want to thank you guys as well for having me on. This is going to be a lot of fun. My name is Blake Coffey. I am one of the co-founders for a startup here in Kansas City called Whir. My co-founder and I, we have been moonlighting this thing for just a little bit over a year now, and been getting it out in the community. We officially launched in June. So yeah, it's a community platform for local businesses and their customers to interact with each other, and a way for these local businesses to market the in-store experiences that they have that aren't on things like DoorDash or Grubhub or Uber Eats or stuff like that, but are actually in their businesses. So it's been a lot of fun. Been getting out into the community, talking to a lot of businesses, talking to a lot of consumers, and that's been a really, really exciting adventure in my sort of, in my my free time that I've been working on here recently. But as far as how I ended up in Kansas City, I was actually born here. My family moved up to northern Iowa when I was like 2. So I grew up in Iowa for the majority of my life. Went to school at the University of Iowa, graduated in 2020, and actually got a job down in Overland Park. So I moved down here in 2021, and I've been here ever since. But, yeah.
So could you give us 2 of your favorite examples of how people navigate your platform?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of our favorite parts of the platform, especially in this early stage, is dealing with the businesses directly and getting actual feedback from them and seeing how they use the platform itself. So for them, businesses create an account on there, and they're able to sign in, enter all their business information, and then they're able to create what we call deals, events, or promotions. And with that, they can either do, hey, we have a reverse happy hour coming up this weekend, or maybe we have industry nights, or maybe we have an event that's 3 months in the future that we want to plan and set a date on. So it's really exciting to see them use the platform however they want and then give us cool feedback. So a good example of that is recently we only had 2 dates, a start date and an end date for every deal. But for a lot of the deals that businesses are putting up, they're indefinite. There's no start date or end date. And we got some feedback on that, and they were like, hey, this deal doesn't really end. Can you put something in where this just goes on forever? And that was some awesome feedback to get, because that's something we didn't really think of initially when we were building it, and we were able to kind of implement that and get a new feature out for that group, and it's gotten a lot of use. So that was a really cool way that that navigation's worked. And I guess on the user side, it's really just getting a lot of feedback on the map that they use and the spots around them and how they would most easily and most conveniently kind of navigate and find new spots.
Awesome.
Quickly, your favorite new restaurant that's on the platform? Not your favorite, just new.
The newest one would be Otaku in Crossroads. It's a little anime-inspired bar and restaurant. So they're just opened like a week and a half ago.
That's awesome.
Nice.
So,
You probably know all the hot spots.
Mhm.
I'm definitely getting around and meeting a lot of cool little small new opening places. So it's been a lot of fun.
Melissa, now we're going to pivot here, and we're going to ask you, what was the most pivotal point in your career?
So, just like a brief history. I graduated from college, and my best friend and I decided we wanted to backpack Australia, New Zealand. So we did that for a couple months, and then I moved down to Texas with my now husband. And my plan was to go into nonprofits. And so I moved down there after my Australia, New Zealand adventures, and started looking for a job, a big kid job. And then shortly after moving down, my husband actually got transferred to Kansas City to work on a development project. And like most of those go, it was supposed to be 3 months, and it ended up being 10 months. But during that time, since I wasn't able to actively job search in Dallas-Fort Worth area, I got connected through a friend of a friend who was starting a fintech company. And my plan was to just, work remotely until I moved back to Texas and, work for a nonprofit and tried to save the world. And then at the end of my husband's project, he decided he wanted a career change. I was like, okay, well, this startup is actually, we're getting some traction. This is really exciting. Like this opportunity to, build a business, build a product, build, everything that goes along with it. And the company was based out of Chicago. And so we decided, instead of going back to Fort Worth, that, we would leave Kansas City and go to Chicago. And so took a leap there. And, I think for me, that was an experience of, it was a real world MBA. I was the second employee when I left. We were at 85 people and close to $30 million in revenue annually. So it was exciting, and it definitely changed the trajectory of my career and my life and, you know, what I thought I would do. And it opened a lot of doors and opportunities for me.
That is amazing. So when you were 2 employees, did you ever have any idea that it would scale to what it was?
No, none. And the founder used to give me such a hard time because he was like, we're going to get to X amount of new users in a week. Just watch. And I was like, no way, that's never going to happen. And then, of course, when it did, he didn't let me live it down.
That's
Too
amazing.
funny. So Blake, will transition to you. What was the most pivotal point in your career?
Yeah, I'd say this story is probably one of my favorite, like little self-deprecating jabs. I always tell it's funny. It's funny looking back in hindsight now, but probably the most pivotal point in my career was not getting into the business school at the University of Iowa. I tried multiple times to get in, but I could not get a high enough grade in calculus for them to let me in.
Oh
They
my
have,
gosh.
they have since removed the calculus requirement, but because of that, I was actually able to get into a program called the Enterprise Leadership Program at the University of Iowa, which is essentially a business degree, but from an entrepreneurial focus. So they would bring in business owners from around the area, Cedar Rapids, Iowa City, and they would come in and teach night classes. And you would do everything from, you know, finances to management to marketing, all the way through, taught from the perspective of entrepreneurs in the same vein. And that really, I had already had what, you know, I thought I had, like, you know, an entrepreneurial spirit and drive, but there was a lot of having the education based around that really, I think, set me up for set me up for the experiences I'm having now, but also set me up for, you know, a variety of different career roles. And because of that, actually, I was able to go to one of their liberal arts job fairs, and I found a great job at a company that just opened up in Iowa City at the time. And from there, that company opened up a lot of opportunities for me with internships and experiences that eventually led for me getting the job down here in Overland Park as a project manager. So really kind of, it's a funny story because something that I thought I wanted to get into really badly, and then not getting that ended up being, you know, a blessing in disguise. And that really kind of changed the whole trajectory of my life and kind of where I ended up now. And I think I'm benefiting from it for the most part.
I'm going to turn it over to a young lady, my co-host, who also wasn't let into the business school, but now speaks at the business school. What are your thoughts, Erin?
I didn't try to get into the business school, but I did have to drop out of college because of college algebra. Took it 3 times and I couldn't pass it. And I was trying to get into school of journalism, same thing. And they've now taken that requirement away.
Yep, it's funny how that works.
Right. I have to ask the most obvious question. Have you ever ventured into the coffee space?
I have considered it. I've also considered the tea space as a bit of an ironic switch up as well, but never actually gotten into it yet. I don't know how I do with the sort of
last name coffee.
But does it come, like, is it a talking point when you're going and trying some of these restaurants and stuff? And coffee?
Yeah, definitely. They're like, I tell them my name and they're kind of like, they brush it off, and then I hand them my card and they're like, oh, your last name is actually Coffee, huh? And I go, yeah. It definitely works as a good icebreaker. I use it.
I was gonna say the space you're in, I can see that being very beneficial. So that's pretty fun. But tea, I like the tea space.
Yeah,
that's good.
It's a family show, but I want to ask you your pickup lines, but I'm not going to do it.
I've heard every joke in the book about it, so I can twist those around whatever way I need to.
Family show is wild.
I mean, I would take coffee over Footlick, though.
My last name's Fulk, so we'll just leave it there.
Oh, Erin, by the way, I know we got to ask the last question, but do you know I kept a name tag in my car for the longest time because I wanted to wear it around you because someone accidentally wrote Erin Fulk.
They make L when they have bad handwriting on the L. I know all about it.
Yeah, but I kept it. I threw it away like recently because I was like, oh, I need to wear this when I hang out there, and you always forget. So
yeah, well, that's a bummer. You had to throw that away. All right, Melissa, how is your 2024 and your goals going, and what are you preparing for 2025, and how can the Kansas City community help you?
Yeah, so 2024 has been a great year for me. Just kind of, you know, having left my job and having previously been traveling so much, I felt like even though I lived in Kansas City, I wasn't really like integrated with the community, especially the business community. And so I've been starting to do more of that, which is nice because, having been in Chicago for 11 years, like I had such a solid professional network. And coming back as an adult and building that professional network is challenging, just like, making friends as an adult is challenging. So I've been doing that, and, Kansas City people are fantastic and so kind and generous with their time and always willing to help. So would love to continue doing that. So anybody, watching, please connect with me. Would love to grab coffee or continue the drinks. And then going into 2025, kind of at this crossroads of deciding, do I want to go back and work in the tech space, or, just this idea of like working at a business or working for somebody else, or do I want to create my own thing? And so I'm kind of wrestling with that idea. But if anybody has any opportunities in the operation space, would also love to, connect and talk about those. Or if you need some interior design and help with that, or help with getting your short-term rentals started, I'm your girl also.
That's awesome. I have a girlfriend that owns an interior design, and then they do the staging and stuff in
Yeah.
Miami, and she does insane.
Yes. Yeah.
So
that's like interior design and staging and remodeling. Like that is absolutely like what I love to do and my passion, but I don't know. We'll see.
awesome.
I always joke around. It's like everyone wants to do interior design, but Melissa, not everyone can own a portfolio of short-term rentals.
That's right.
And so you very, very much capitalize on all the hard work that you've done to get to where you are. What's one thing about Kansas City that was surprising when you moved back?
For me, it was really the revitalization of so many different areas that, when the last time I was in Kansas City for an extended period of time was prior to going to KU, and then seeing downtown and West Bottoms and Crossroads. It's really been great.
It's wild. Scott, to your point, not everybody wants to be in interior design, because some people are really, really bad at it, but they wish they were good at it.
This one, yes.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm really good at it.
That is an extreme talent, I think. Yeah. Right? I'm the person that goes, and if it's left up to me, I just pick the room, how they have the rooms to go type thing.
Okay, we can do better.
I'm the clientele for that. If you saw how much gray is just on gray in my house, very Johnson County of me. All right, Blake. So I'm trying to run this clock, but I don't want to start until I ask you the question. How are your 20, Blake? Because you asked me how this was worded, now I'm in my head about it. So this is and the we're almost to 2025. Okay, how have your 2024 goals been going? What are your goals for 2025, and how can the Kansas City community help you?
Yeah, 2024 has been a blast. Our goals, me and my co-founder's named Lucas Kern. We've been working on this since, November of last year. So 2024, we wanted to be launched by the end of the year, and we ended up launching in June. So that was a great goal to achieve. And we're actually out talking with businesses now and actually getting people on our platform and trying it out. So 2024 has been an absolute blast. It's been like grabbing onto a rocket ship and holding on for dear life. But we are just continuing to set goals ahead of us as we go, and just trying to, scale as much as we can and have a lot of fun while we're doing it. So 2024 has been awesome. We look at 2025 and just keep on capitalizing on what we're doing now, just at a bigger scale. So we want to grow. We want to get more businesses. We want to get more users. We want to, help these communities really thrive and kind of show the benefit of our platform. So we just want to keep on doing what we're doing, but doing it bigger. So that's kind of our goals for 2025. And as far as what can Kansas City do to help accomplish that goal, I mean, for one thing, Kansas City's been great. I didn't know the extent of the kind of tech-minded and entrepreneurial community that Kansas City had up until like 2 months ago. We'd been doing this whole thing without knowing anybody and like the work that Back to KC and New to KC is doing is fantastic. That's how I really got involved with a lot of the community and met so many of these, great people here recently. So just continue to be a really welcoming community for where, people like myself and a lot of other people that are out there, trying out new stuff. It's a really exciting time. And I guess the other way that Kansas City can help is by just checking out our app. It's totally free. It's on the App Store and Google Play Store. It's Whir, WHIR, or you can check out the website, getwhir, GETWHIR.com. We're looking to onboard new businesses. So if you have a small business or a small business owner that has deals or would like a little free marketing, we're currently offering our platform totally free for businesses. So come check it out while it's still like that. We'd love to have a lot of people on and just get in there and tell us what you want to see.
Are you on the Apple App Store yet?
Yep. The Apple App Store and the Google Play Store.
Okay, I heard Google Play. I just want to make sure that you're on the Apple one too.
Yep, we're on both.
I'm a Apple girl over here.
Yeah, we are for the most part too, but we do have to cater to the Android community.
Well, I know the community. Is that what it is now?
No. They're actually much easier to deal with on our development side than Apple. I can tell you that much. So we appreciate
That's
it.
up the group text, but they mess up the group
Yeah,
text, right?
when Aaron plays that music, she always says "you people," and I was like, "Oh, you can't do that." So Blake, I'll ask you the same question I asked Melissa. What was something surprising to you in terms of your interactions with the Kansas City business community?
Yeah, I would say that it wasn't so much of when I moved down here, but when I really started getting involved with this application and getting out there to talk to small businesses, how much like the actual local businesses were so like amped about helping us out. Like we've been to multiple places where they're like, this is so cool what you're doing. We love this. Here's like 3 other spots. I know their owners. I'll introduce you. And just willing to network you with the other small businesses in the area. Like they really are small business communities. They might be competing, against each other as businesses do, but they are like a family in different areas of town. And it's been really cool to kind of network and meet a lot of these folks.
Well, you guys have been amazing. I want to thank you both so much for coming on. Both you guys right here on LinkedIn. You guys can connect with people here on LinkedIn. So make sure that you connect. Thank you to Jessica Powell for booking both of you. Jessica's the absolute best. Thank you to our sponsors. And thank you to Scott for being the best co-host ever. We will see you same time, same place. And the polling for the most part, I looked this up right before. Your polling location is probably open 7-8 p.m. So go and vote. Have a great day, guys.
Bye-bye.